Welcome to MTG Ectoplasm, your home for spirits and spirit decks in the world of Magic the Gathering. On this episode, it's pre-release weekend. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Modern Horizons 2 is here. I hope you're happy. I hope you're jovial. I even hope you're giddy, because I know I am. I'm going to give you my personal top 10, and I hope you agree with me. Also, last weekend, there was an MTGO Modern League Challenge. I'm going to look at both top 8s. It was on Saturday and Sunday. And there was a gentleman, a friend of the show, who made top 18 on that Saturday. And then finally, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking for the best of the best, the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme in the shout-out section. Did you make it? I hope so, because I'm your number one cheerleader. So you know what? Let's get this episode started, shall we? Let's go. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on this episode. I am your host, Dwight, aka D Blanco, a medium that wears an extra large. I have a special guest in the house, that's right. My beautiful, wonderful wife, the one, the only, the ravishing Renata.
Hi, everyone.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. The voice of an angel. Obviously not Sarah Angel, but, you know, we're not going to go there. There's a reason why I'm kissing her ass a little bit tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And let me begin by telling you why you haven't heard me on the air. What happened was that on last Wednesday, not this Wednesday past, but the previous Wednesday, I did a show with a friend of the show, Peter Velko, and another gentleman named Matt. And we were going to do the Modern Horizons 2 Legacy Edition, where we're going to pick out what cards we're going to send out in Legacy. And it was a great, awesome episode. Unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances that were beyond my control, the file got corrupted. My devices here went kaput, and I was stuck in a situation where there was nothing I could do. So, thanks to my beautiful, wonderful wife, she helped me get things rolling, and I was supposed to have an episode put out on Sunday, but unfortunately, the person that I had scheduled had a scheduling conflict, and hopefully they're going to be with me this Sunday. So that's the reason why you missed me, and I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I got several emails from you. I apologize, but I'm back. I'm 100% about transparency and being honest with you. So don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, I have my Twitter account, MTG Ectoplasm. You can also email me, like many of you did, at mtgectoplasm@gmail.com. And then my website, mtgectoplasm.com, where you can see my latest and greatest episodes and my short yet extensive spirit content library. All right, so that's what I have to say about that. Now, before we continue beginning this episode, there is a new LGS that just opened up in the New Jersey area. Since New Jersey is one of these few states that we have now gone maskless, and we can sit there and go out and hang out and do things, there's a new LGS in the Hoboken area. I want you to check them out. They're Magnolia Gaming in Hoboken at 79 Hudson Street, Suite 103 LL, Hoboken, New Jersey. You can find them on Facebook at Magnolia Gaming Hoboken, and they have a website, magnoliagaming.com. All right? Tell Mike while you're there that MTG Ectoplasm sent you, and please support their LGS. I'm going to bring them up a little later on the show, but I wanted to say that because you know what? LGSs, I've seen them unfortunately come And I've seen a lot of them go, especially due to the pandemic. And this is one of these shops that we got to make sure as a community, especially if you're in the northern Jersey area, we have to support. So please, ladies and gentlemen, do your part. Please support this LGS. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to discuss, me and the wonderful wife, are going to discuss my Modern Horizons 2 top 10. So I'm going to start with my honorable mentions. I'm going to start with Persist. Persist is a wonderful card that you can use to sit there and get creatures from the graveyard. And I think, actually, non-legendary creatures to be specific. It's one of these cards, ladies and gentlemen, that I think is going to make some noise, but not a lot of noise due to the fact that, you know what, there is a lot of graveyard hate. All right? I'm just letting you know that. The next card, I have 3 of them here on my honorable mentions, also is Shardless Agent. Now, you're going to see, as we speak about the modern challenge decks that I'm going to talk about, there are quite a few of these. All right, this is a very popular card, and I'm afraid this may end up being one of the few cards that may end up getting banned. Okay, so yeah, go out there and get it, but just be aware. Okay, just be careful. Okay, and then the last card. Okay, I am one of these individuals that, yes, I started in a particular tribe, and now I'm in spirits because I love spirits to death. But my first tribe, my first love, was merfolk. And of course, I'm going to talk about the merfolk god, Svelun of Sea and Sky. Let me just tell you, I've been watching the merfolk master, Nikachu MTG, play this card, and let me just tell you, it's a really badass card. You know what? It's exactly what merfolk needed, and I say bravo. Bravo to WotC for doing it. Now, I know some of you were slightly disappointed that there was no true spirit out there that we could put in our modern deck, and you saw everybody else getting goodies. You were like Christmas morning, and everybody's getting these wonderful toys, and you got socks and underwear. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. What happens is WotC didn't want to keep on giving to the good decks. They wanted to give to the poor, humble, meager decks that just weren't making it. Okay, they were like, we love you, like the redheaded stepchild, and we're like, we love you. Here's some really good presents for you, because we had the great presents. So, now that I'm finished doing my honorable mentions, it's now time for me to go to my top 10. In the number 10 spot,
Imperial Recruiter. 2 generic, 1 red. Creature, human advisor. When Imperial Recruiter enters the battlefield, search your library for a creature card with power 2 or less. Reveal it into your hand, then shuffle. Power and toughness is 1/1.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I picked this card because this card is it's a powerhouse. It's an absolute powerhouse. And, it's about time it started making its mark in Modern. It needed a reprint severely. And I think it's going to make some good movement here and there, depending on the type of decks. I can actually see this placed in Goblins. I don't know about Jund. Definitely not in the prowess deck. But I see this card being played a lot, and you know what? It's a really good card. Just hidden. I love this card. So at number 9, I chose
Esper Sentinel. 1 white mana. Artifact creature, human soldier. Whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, draw a card unless that player pays X, where X is Esper Sentinel's power. Power and toughness is 1/1.
Now, I fell in love with this card the first time I saw it. I personally wished that it was a spirit. I was like, personally, I was one of the few that was highly disappointed this wasn't a spirit. I didn't even care if it flew or not. And the reason why is because spirits lacks one particular thing, and that's card draw. We have a lot of a lot of interaction with the opponent. We can start removing things here and there, but unfortunately, card drawing is not what we do. And the fact that, if they play a non-creature spell, they have to pay mana for it. I mean, that leaves mana available for us when we use our Mausoleum Wanderer to counter something. They're like, oh, well, I already used it to stop you from getting getting a card. So it's like a heuristic study with legs. I ended up seeing a game played with this. It's a Game Nights, I believe. They do a commander thing, and I believe the gentleman who was playing it was he's a famous singer, Malone. Okay, he was playing it, and let me just tell you, great card. I'm a huge fan of this card. Now, at number 8, I chose
Grist, the Hunger Tide. 1 generic and 1 black and 1 green mana. Legendary Planeswalker, Grist. As long as Grist the Hunter Tide isn't on the battlefield, it's a 1/1 insect creature in addition to its other types. Loyalty, +1. Create a 1/1 black and green insect creature token, then a mill card. If an insect card was milled this way, put a loyalty counter on Grist and repeat this process. Loyalty, -2. You may sacrifice a creature. When you do, destroy target creature or planeswalker. Loyalty, -5. Each opponent loses life equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. No power toughness is listed.
All right. Well, there's a reason why there's no power and toughness listed. It's because it's a planeswalker. Since you're new to the game, my wife is learning how to play. Thank God, I have a COVID partner, you could say, and I was able to play with her. No, it's okay. You can giggle. But one reason why I really like this card a lot is because it's an insect that just happens to be a planeswalker. So this insect had its spark lit because maybe somebody stepped on his ant pile, somebody swatted his cousin, something happened. He got angry, got pissed, and he's like, I'm going to come back and I'm going to kill the world. Well, you know what? Here's Grist. I really love the flavor on this guy, especially the fact that you can get him back, you can play him with Coco. How ridiculous is that for a planeswalker? There's so much I can say. I'm a big fan. Currently, the only decks I actually can see this played in is the deck that I actually brought up in a previous episode, which was with Yawgmoth. If you missed that episode, it's a shame. It's an up and coming deck that's making a lot of noise. You gotta check out this Yawgmoth deck, and I have a feeling this is one of the few cards that it fits. It truly fits. Maybe one of, but it definitely fits the deck. Now, this is going to be a fun one for me. At number 7, I chose
Asmarano Mardika Destina Koldakar.
Here, quiet. Before you begin, how long did it take you to pronounce that?
I have no idea.
A long time, right? You practiced really hard for that one. So why don't you say the name one more time?
Asmarano Mardika Destina Koldakar. Legendary creature, human wizard. As long as you've discarded a card this turn, you may pay red or black to cast this spell. When this card enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a card named the Underworld Cookbook. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Sacrifice 2 foods. Target creature deals 6 damage to itself. Power and toughness is 3/3.
Now, let me just tell you, this is a card that it's flavored. There's a flavor text for this card that goes all the way back to Alpha. All right. I don't know if you're aware of that. I actually found that out through a Magic historian. And I found the story to be quite interesting when they were talking about it. And I'm sitting here like, okay. And then learning more about this card, I'm like, how can I play with this card? This is going to be something fun that I'm going to try to play with. I'm assuming with a witch's oven and with the cat that goes with the witch's oven, so you make a bunch of food. I'm excited to play with this. It's one of these few cards that, you know, that shows up and you're like, can I break it and how do I break it? And that's the fun thing about this card. I'm a big fan, and hopefully you like this card as much as I do. Now at number 6, I chose
Ignoble Hierarch. 1 green mana. Creature, Goblin Shaman. Exalted. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, that creature gets +1/+1 until the end of turn. Power and toughness is 0/1.
Now, I'm a huge fan of this card because it reminds me, obviously, of Noble Hierarch. The only thing they did was put IG in front of it, and instead of being an, I believe it was like a human shaman, it's a goblin shaman. One thing I'll tell you, I see a lot of decks playing this, just because not only is it a mana dark, but it's a mana dark that gives exalted. I mean, that's right there why people love Noble Hierarch. And then you put it with the enemy colors, like there's so much that this card can do. I'm just wondering if WotC's going to sit there and decide if they're going to splash in blue, well, they already did the blue, didn't they? They already did the band colors, and now they're doing the Jund colors. So, let's see what they go next. What next hierarch they do. But I'm a big fan of this card, and I can't wait to see what you guys do with it. Now, at number 5, I chose
Dothi Voidwalker. 2 black mana. Creature, Dothi Rogue. Shadow. This creature can block or be blocked by only creatures with shadow. If a card would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, instead exile it from a void counter on it. Tap, sacrifice Dothi Voidwalker. Choose an exiled card an opponent owns with a void counter on it. You may play it this turn without paying its mana. Power and toughness is 3/2.
Now, let me just tell you, when I saw this card, I think many people were like me, like, holy crap, this is a really good card. The fact that it has 3 separate abilities. Okay, the shadow ability alone. Okay, fine, it's unblockable. How many cards are out there that, have shadow or that's used in the modern meta? None at all. And the fact that it's a Leyline of the Void on a body, a 3/2. So I'm going to be smashing into my opponent, and they're automatically taking 3. That's stupid. And the fact that whenever they cast a card, it goes out of the game. It's not even, it goes into the library. No, it's exiled, put a void counter on it. Now, the cool thing is, if you've done enough damage and you got a game-ending card with a void counter on it, you can sacrifice this card. You tap it, obviously, but you can play the card without paying the mana cost. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget Loris. I'm just saying, think about this card in Loris, and then you may want to consider Grief. Just throwing it out there. Now, do I potentially see this being a deck and yet I don't know. I'm not the one to speculate. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm a huge fan. I think this card's going to be making noise. Who knows? But I really, really like this card a lot. At number 4, I chose
General Ferris Rockeric. 1 generic, 1 red, 1 white mana. Legendary creature, human soldier. Hexproof from monocolored. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, create a 4/4 red-white golem artifact creature token. Power and toughness is 3/1.
Now, you're going to go Dwight. Come on, man. Really? This guy? In your top 5? Nah, you couldn't have picked this guy in top 5. Let me just tell you why I did. Just by one simple factor alone. Hexproof from monocolors. The reason why that's important, ladies and gentlemen, is because most of the removal that's in Modern is what? It's monocolored. Now, they've printed, multicolored cards where you can get at it. But realistically, it's going to be really, really hard to kill. And the fact that anytime he, or say you as the player, can sit there and play a multicolored card, you get a 4/4 golem? A 4/4 golem, are you kidding me? Okay, he's strong as can be, got the power of 3 and, he's, got toughness of 1. I mean, his suit of armor ain't helping him out, but he makes 4/4s. That's ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I know you're going to go, this right here, Dwight, is nothing more than a commander. I disagree. I have a feeling this is one of the few cards that I end up going to be making some type of noise out there in the Modern meta. Just watch. I have that feeling. Now, at number 3, I selected
Urza's Saga. Enchantment Land Urza's Saga. As this saga enters and after your draw step, add a lore counter sacrifice after 3. Chapter 1. Urza's Saga gains 2 tap. Create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this creature gets a 1/1/1 for each artifact you control. Chapter 2. Urza gains 2 tap. Create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. Chapter 3. Search your library for an artifact card with mana cost 0 or 1. Put it into the battlefield, then shuffle.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you, this card isn't, this is a sneak peek for the top 8. This card's everywhere. This card is being used everywhere. I heard someone sit there and say this statement, and I started chuckling in my mind. Urza Saga is as broke as the Urza Saga block or the Urza set. It's Urza's Urza, man. Like, something about these artifacts and him just spell busted. Now, do I want to get my hands on one? Of course. Does it fit its spirits? No, I won't use it in spirits, but it's something I will be using as I, brew. I'm a brewer. I like to play test. I like doing weird things. So it's all good, but this Urza Saga, man, big fan, and it's one of the few cards that I actually see that may be potentially banned next to Shardless Agent. I don't know why. I get that feeling. Go ahead, collect yours today, but there's something in my mind that's it screams it's going to be overplayed. Now, at number 2, I chose
Elemental Incarnations. Solitude, Grief, Subtlety, Endurance, and Fury.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I love these cards. Hands down, I think they're all great. I think they're interesting. Obviously, some are stronger than others. I'm going to put them in the order that I think they're great. I personally think number 1 for me is Solitude. I think Solitude is one of these cards that, we had to have Sword the Plowshare back. Then I'd say Grief is my second favorite. Just the fact that I see this card is not as most players see it as a Thoughtseize. Yeah, it can be used as a Thoughtseize, but I think it's more of a later game where you can use it as a 3/2 creature to attack, but at the same time, it's like, okay, let me see what's in my opponent's hand. If there's something stopping me from getting the win, I'll just take it out of their hand. I think that's primarily where we're going to go with this card. I don't think, to use it out initially or really quick, you're really doing yourself a disservice because of the fact that you're losing card advantage. And then Subtlety. I think Subtlety is ridiculous. I know the friend of the show, Andre Segura, the Spirit Master, he loves this card. He calls it the Force of Will. I won't go that hard on it, but the fact that you can return a creature or a planeswalker and put it on top of a library or bottom of a library, that's ridiculous. And the only drawback, especially in Spirits, is we don't draw cards. And then we're going to lose card advantage to play this card. That's the only thing that really sucks about Solitude and Subtlety. Now, one card I'll tell you that really bites my ass is Endurance. Endurance is one of these cards that, come on, man. With WotC, why did you have to do this? 2 green and 1 for a 3/4 flash reach. You can play. Green players can play this at any time and block one of our flyers. And then the fact that if we have Morlenhon in play, that means they could put our spirits on the bottom of our library. That sucks, man. I want to be able to use my Morlenhon. And then finally, Fury. Fury is absolute trash. I wish you could. I just wish WotC would have just made. I just don't understand why they made this one so weak. I'm highly disappointed with that, but I am a huge fan of these cards. I think they're all awesome. My only concern, honestly, is the drawback of card disadvantage with it. Now at number 1, the only I have selected
Ragavan, Nimble Pilferer. 1 red mana, legendary creature, Monkey Pirate. Whenever Ragavan Nimble Pilfer deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token and exile the top of that player's library. Until end of turn, you may cast that card. Dash 1 generic and 1 red mana.
All right. Let me just tell you. I'm going to be honest with you. Here goes more honesty than you guys need to know. I don't like monkeys. I've never been a fan of monkeys in all my life. And the reason why is in my youth, I lived in Latin America, Peru to be specific, around when I was 12 years old. And I was bitten by a monkey. And it hurt a lot. Unfortunately, it was not radioactive and I did not get superpowers and become Monkey Man. But I will never forget that monkey bite. And it's one of the monkeys. That's the major reasons why I don't like monkeys. Also, I don't like llamas, but that's a different story for another day. But when it comes to Ragavan, for 1 mana, let me just tell you, hands down, this card is ridiculous. You got to consider back in the day, there was a card called Jackal Pup. Okay. That thing was really good. And then now it's just utter trash. The fact that, if you deal damage, you can create a treasure token? Really? Or the fact that you can exile the top card of an opponent's library? Come on, man. And you get to play it? You could end up playing that card? That's stupid powerful. I don't know what WotC was thinking, but I can understand why everybody and their mother is trying to get their hands on this card. This card's a terribly expensive card. I think it was like about $100, I think, last week. Now I think, with supply starting to show up at, here and there a little bit more, I think it's dropped down to $80, but Jesus, That's one expensive monkey. That's what I'm going to say about that. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was my top 10. So, in my my honorable mentions persist, Shardless Agent, Sphinx of the Seas. Then, in number order, number 10, Imperial Recruiter. 9, Esper Sentinel. Number 8, Grist the Hunger Tide. 7, I'll let my wife try to say it. Number 7.
Esmerano Mardica Destina Kuldakar.
Okay, because I definitely didn't want to say that.
Thanks.
And number 6, Ignoble Hierarch. 5, Dothi Voidwalker. 4, General Ferris, Rockeric. Number 3, Urza Saga. Number 2, the Elemental Incarnations, all of them. And then it would, maybe with the exception of Fury. And then number 1, Ragavan Nimble Perforer. So those are my top 10. I hope you liked. Now, before I begin into the top 8s of last week, let me go back into discussing Magnolia Gaming. Okay? They just opened on Tuesday. This Tuesday. All right? They haven't even had their grand opening yet. They basically have their soft opening, but they have the Modern Horizons 2 pre-release events right now. So you can go to their shop right now. I think they're having one right now as we speak, and then one this upcoming Sunday. So it's a moral imperative that you go. All right. This is a place, they focus on trading card games, board games, D&D, and they have a decent variety of products in the store. Currently, they're working on a schedule for a weekly and monthly events. So if you're in that area, go let them know what you want to see and what you want to play. And also, if you play Flesh and Blood, you can do that there. Or if not, they'll probably end up teaching you how to play Flesh and Blood. This is a moral imperative. Please, 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 Magnolia Gaming in Hoboken. All right, check them out on their Facebook, Magnolia Gaming Hoboken, or their website, magnoliagaming.com. Tell Mike that you heard it here on the show, MTG Ectoplasm, and go out there and support them, all right? Now, my top 8. Not my top 8, but the MTGO Modern League Challenge. Here in my hands. You hear it in my hands? There you go. You hear it in my hands. Now, on Saturday, okay, this is when you could actually start playing with the Modern Horizons 2 cards. In first place, there was Death and Taxes. Now, they were using Solitude and Sanctifier Invec. Now, I was actually surprised that Death and Taxes made it in first place as a deck that's been on the fringes. It really depends. You have to be a great pilot to pilot this. But I was really amazed that it really made first place. And I'm happy for that particular crew that plays that. Second place, you know what? This may be good for us, ladies and gentlemen. This is a tribal deck, and that's humans. And they were using Shardless Agent. Now, mind you, remember how I said that card's almost everywhere, ladies and gentlemen, so don't be surprised. Just saying, if that card gets banned. And third was Amulet Titan. This deck was using everything, basically. They were using Urza Saga, the Yavamaya's Cradle, and other cards. Now, I was actually surprised they were using Yavamaya's Cradle because I really couldn't understand, like, why do you need so much green? But then looking at their deck list, I was like, oh, stupid. They use a lot of green. So, just be aware that Amulet Titan is now using Urza Saga and Yavamaya's Cradle Growth. Now, in fourth, there was Teamer Cascade. They were using the split card Fire and Ice, and once again, Shardless Agent. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Now, at 5th, 6th, and 7th, three same decks, Living End. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Living End is back. And you want to take a wild guess what card was there? Take a wild guess what card was there.
Persist and Shardless.
No, just Shardless Agent. Sorry, I had my whip just poking at a card and see if she could say it for me. Now, they were doing they were all doing Shardless Agent. And let me just tell you, like I said, man, this card is going to end up getting banned, ladies and gentlemen. And then 8th place in the Saturday Modern Challenge was Pure Steel Combo, and they were using Urza Saga. I don't know, man. Like, that card has broke all over it. Now, what was cool about it is in this competition, this Modern Challenge, friend of the show, Dr. Katz, all right, he came in 18th place. I believe he was using a Azoreous deck. Now, he was running some of the new cards in the deck. I'm going to hopefully have him on the show this Sunday so you can listen to the interview. And we can discuss further about what Spirits can do with the Modern Horizons 2 and how we see Spirits in the new Modern meta. All right? Because right now, Modern is wide open. And I think, it's going to be good for us, Spirits. I'm just saying. Now, on Sunday, okay, June 6th, their top 8 was, in first place, was Hardened Scales. Now, mind you, remember, I talked about this in a previous episode, ladies and gentlemen, Hardened Scales. Told you to be aware of it, mindful. You may want to go back and check that episode, but the fact that they ended up adding 3 cards from the new set. They put Zabaz the Glimmer Wasp. Okay, that's an interesting card that may get flying. Then they put Power Depot, and then Urza Saga. Surprise, 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 right? Because why wouldn't we want to put more artifact stuff in an artifact deck? Just saying. In second place was Teamer Cascade. They were using Subtlety and Shardless Agent. Here you go. Finally, the first appearance of a elemental incarnation, and then, of course, the card that I expect to end up getting banned eventually, Shardless Agent. Then in third was 5-color Niv-Mizzet, where they were using General Ferris, Rockeric, or the general guy. I'm going to call him the general, not the guy from the insurance commercials, but the general. And let me just tell you, that deck has a lot of multicolor in there. So, just be aware when you see that. They may have the general in there and expect to see a lot of 4/4 golems. So, Spear players, you've been warned. Now, the next 3 decks, the next 3 spots, and number 4, okay, a lot of cards. It was the Golgari Evolution. This is the one with Yawgmoth. The one deck that I told you that I did an episode on. They're using Ignoble Hierarch, Grist the Hunger Tide, Yavimaya Cradle of Growth, and Endurance. Okay, that's a lot of cards there, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, this deck got a massive improvement thanks to Modern Horizons 2. Do I see it being top 8 constantly? Well, it depends on how many players play it. It's a good, solid deck, just like Hardened Scales is. So this may be the beginning of a meta, especially with Living End. At number 5, you have Sultai Sacrifice. All right, they have Asmorano. They have the Underworld Cookbook, Urza Saga again, and then Break the Ice. Okay, this is a fun deck. Let me just tell you, I've seen this deck played online on Twitch. Let me just tell you, I love this deck, but I'm a Spirit guy and I'm not switching up. Okay, I have my loyalties. I'm like a dog. I'm very loyal, not going anywhere. But this is a very, very, very mean and sick deck. Be aware that Asmorano is making moves. And 6th, you have Azoreous Control. Okay, this is where you're going to find, of course, Counterspell. Okay, why wouldn't it be there? Okay, I know many Spirit players are like, well, we should be playing Counterspell. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I did an episode about that too. Go back and look at my library, check it out, and you'll understand why we may not want to use Counterspell. They're also using Urza Saga, surprise, surprise, right? Prismatic Ending. That's a great card, ladies and gentlemen, that everybody's sleeping on just because of the fact that it's a sorcery. Just keep an eye out there. In Spanish, we say ponga ojo. Try, keep an eye. This is a very good card. Then you have a Blossoming Calm and then Zoran Orb. Okay? Saying this, control, it really wants to control the atmosphere. Just beware. At number 7, this one surprised the crap out of me. All right. I was like, are you kidding me? Someone actually played it. And yeah, they did. Ad nauseum. Ad nauseum's back, ladies and gentlemen. And the card that made them back is Profane Tutor. Go figure. Profane Tutor made that deck back. You know what? Let's look, this is one of those decks that are just always been like, they're right there and then they go away. Right there and they go away. I'm I'm happy to see it back. All right. And then finally, Eldrazi Tron. Can you believe, between you and me, don't tell anybody, they didn't put any new cards from the new set. Nothing in the sideboard. Nothing in the main. Nothing. So what I will say once again, ladies and gentlemen, that right there was your top 8 on Sunday. So you got your top 8 on Saturday, top 8 on Sunday. There you go. What I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Modern is wide open. Okay? Don't expect any of the old stuff. Don't expect any craziness, because you're going to see a lot of the old decks coming back. All right? A lot of decks that you saw disappear about a year and a half ago, they're making moves and they're coming back. All right. Some of the new decks that are in the current Modern meta, they don't want to go away. They don't want to disappear into the night. They want to stand strong and fight. So I love the fact right now how I'm seeing the current meta. I'm loving it. I'm liking it. I think Spirits is in a great position. But time will tell. And, keep on listening to the show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be your cheerleader. I'm going to be rooting you on. Now it's time, ladies and gentlemen. It's the shout out section, where I'm looking for the best of the best, the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme. All right? Now, here in my hands, in Historic, on June 7th, first place, in a mono blue snow build, Platinum Mythic rank player. Congratulations, Platinum Mythic rank player. You keep on doing it, kicking ass in Historic. You know what? I hope you keep on doing it over and over and again. I enjoy just shouting you out here. Now in Pioneer, on June 3rd, a player went 5-0 with an Azoreous build in an MTGO league, and that was Traft. Ladies and gentlemen, Traft. On June 7th, another player went 5-0 in a Bant build in an MTGO league, and that's Pauser 5. PAUCR5. Pauser 5. And then June 10th, another individual went 5-0 in another mono blue snow build in an MTGO league, and that's Drevo Polom. Sorry, Drevo Polom. Now, what I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, look right there. The 3rd, the 7th, the 10th, we have an Azoreous, a Bant, and a mono blue snow build. You know what that means, ladies and gentlemen? It doesn't matter what style you like. Spirit kicks ass in any format, any style that you like. It kicks ass. So congratulations to all those players in Pioneer. Thank you for proving Spirits is the best in Pioneer. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Modern. Unfortunately, we didn't have anybody in Legacy. Don't worry. One of you guys will get there. I'm going to be rooting for you, ladies and gentlemen. And Modern. June 1st, 5-0 with an Azoreous build, an MTGO League. It's KORW. Corb. Okay? Congratulations on June 8th in a 5-0 finish in a Bant build. Dr. Queller. Once again, Dr. Queller is kicking ass. And then surprisingly, June 11th, 5-0 build, 5-0 with a Bant build, Dr. Queller again. Surprisingly, he changed up his sideboard. And if you get a chance, check it out. He's actually using one of the new cards, Sanctifier and Vec. Just saying, ladies and gentlemen, check out that list. It's a pretty damn good list. You'll end up liking it. So, congratulations to those players in Modern. Thank you for proving that Spirits is the best deck in every single format and proving, you know what? Spirits is great. I love Spirits. So finally, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the show. I want to say thank you for listening. I want to say thank you to my beautiful wife, the ravishing Renata.
It's been a pleasure being on the show with you.
There you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Humbled, appreciated the 1,000 plus of you listening around the world, making this your number one listen to Spirit podcast. Just please don't forget, support the show. Listen, hit that like, subscribe button on whatever streaming media that you're using. Hit that button for me. And then also don't forget Magnolia Gaming in Hoboken, New Jersey. Support your local LGSs right now with this Modern Horizons 2 release. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I got nothing more to say. So you have a great day. We're out of here.